Hello everybody, it's Catherine from Jayne Catherine on Books, and I'm here with one of my duo series. I can't remember which number it is now, but we'll put it in the description. Can't remember what number we've got up to. Sorry I've not been around for a couple of weeks. I've been waiting to get our new bookshelves up and all the books sorted out. So as you can see behind, we've got some new bookshelves. I'll probably, if people want to have a quick tour of those, then let me know. And been waiting for better light really, but I think we'll be waiting forever because it's so dull, dismal. It's been like that for over a week. Oops, there's Nelson, he's off. It's been like that for over a week. We've had rain non-stop. I mean, fortunately we haven't had the awful floods that they've had in other parts of the UK, especially South Yorkshire areas, and it's just not going to get brighter, so you know I could be waiting forever. So yeah, this is the best we can do with the lighting, so sorry about that. So the duos, the link is Bees today, so I've got two books to show you today, and I'm just trying to Andrew Davies. So this is a non-fiction book called Beekeeping by Andrew Davies, very appropriate for non-fiction November. And the other one is called The Bees by Laline Paull, and this is fiction. So thought that would make a nice change, one non-fiction, one fiction. This I got for David a couple of years ago, and it's a beautiful little book about beekeeping. Now, it's quite basic, so for people that are really into beekeeping and they want a more up-to-date, all singing, all dancing account of setting up your beehives and what to do, etc. Perhaps this isn't the book for you, but we don't have beehives or anything, we're just interested in it. And I think it's a lovely, you know, it's a lovely account, and you know, perhaps some of these methods might be a little bit outdated, but I think there's still people out there that do run their beehives like this. And there's some lovely illustrations in it. You can see see there, it's hard to get it in for you there, and it's just a lovely little book, and what times of the year to do various things, and it's worth getting really. I think that it just gives you a background knowledge, and I think for those of us that know nothing about it, it's very interesting, you know, just to get some details about it. It fascinates me. And when I go on to talk about the next book, I think bees are wonderful creatures. With the size of them, they were never meant to fly. I don't know if everybody knew that, but they weren't meant to fly. The structure of them, can't say engineering wise, but you know what I mean. And the structure of them really meant that the size of them and the wing structure and everything, that they shouldn't be able to fly, but they actually, you know, fly and achieve the impossible. And so that's why many people use the bee, I think, as their emblem of strength and survival. And I know very much that the bee has been very much used as a symbol after the Manchester bombings at the Ariana Grande concert. So there are many people that use the symbolism of bees in their everyday lives. So that's a wonderful little non-fiction book. I just think these small editions look nice on your shelves anyway. So that is that one. Now then, The Bees, Laline Paull. I first heard about this from Janet from Swirly Girly Reads, and she loved it and said it's a book that everybody should read. And I have to say, I agree with her. It really makes you think how important bees are, the work of bees, having an abundance of bees on our planet as a major part of the food chain. And I really feel that we should, we should do everything we can to look after them and, to keep the populations going, because they, if the bees, they always say that if it's the end of the bees, it's end of us as humans. They're so important in the food chain. And I think once you've read this, it does have that impact on you that we need to take care of them, and what a remarkable creature they are. So this features Flora, and she's been given 717. So Flora is born at the beginning of the book, and she is born into the lowest class of bee within the hive structure. It's very interesting, although it's fictionalized. It's a very interesting account of the structure of the beehive, the hierarchy of all the different levels of bees, in a way no different to humans. We have different class system, different systems of society, different cultures. Well, the same happens. It's like a city, really, inside a beehive, and everybody has their place, and there's most certainly a hierarchy of who's allowed to do what or go where within the hive. And I found that really interesting. And Flora, she's born like to the worker bees, but the cleaner-uppers that just go round cleaning up after all the other levels of bees that work in the hive, and they should be seen and not heard. But our Flora, she doesn't want to be kept down. She doesn't want to be seen and not heard and not achieve anything in her life. So it's an account really of how she, with determination and struggle, she wants to get up there and go up the levels, the hierarchy, because it's not often done. You're born into a certain job as a bee, and your family stays in that job forever, sort of thing. But she's having none of that. And so it gives you a really interesting account of the different areas of the hive and different people that she meets along the way. She really wants to go and be nearer the queen and go and work in the nurseries. So they have nurseries where the queen, when she lays the eggs, there are a special set of bees that are there to really nurture and look after the babies, really, for the queen. And so that is what she's aspiring to. You also, then the lowest bees are not allowed really to mix socially, shall we say, or romantically with the drones. And so we get to know a bit about the male drones who obviously fertilise the queen, and they're very arrogant. They're a right arrogant lot, and think they rule the roost. We should say rule the hive, as it were. It's quite slow. If you, I think it's very well written. It's very literary in a way that, sometimes you have that steady pace, but it's very informative, and has a big impact on you, makes you think very seriously about what they're talking about. So it's not something fast-paced. If you want something fast-paced, with a really fancy plot, then this isn't what it's about. Having said that, I think everybody should persevere to read through it. It really had a big impact on me. I think you've got the interest there, which is similar. You find out a little bit in depth. Laline Paull must have done ever such a lot of research to write this book about how hives work and you know, how the hive is structured. And so it's very interesting from that point of view, but also it makes you realise certainly that we should look after the bees more. Now, forgotten what I was going to say now about it. You can't help but like Flora. She's a very determined character. And in a way, although we are, you know, take it outside of its context of talking about a beehive and how it works, that society, you could really relate it to our society. If you look at all the different elements to our society and how it works, and, you know, we've got the working class, lower working class. The class system isn't quite as defined as it used to be back in the 30s and 40s, certainly in the UK, but there still is some type of class system there. And also it represents how anyone with determination, and especially women, if got the determination and wherewithal really to fight for a better life, to move out of, you know, they could be born into poverty, but to then better themselves and become educated and move, you know, up the social chain and how they live and everything, then I think it's certainly very symbolic of that as well. So I think you can look at it on the surface as, you know, what it is. It's talking about a character, as it were, who's Flora the bee, and the society of the beehive and how that works and her life really. And then, you know, if you want to look at it, a deeper meaning is in there. So I just loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's something that I think it's one of those books that I feel that you could read again and again and still get something out of it, something more out of it. Yeah, so yeah, make a note of that and let me know if you read it, what you thought. At times, you know, it perhaps feels a little like it's dragging on, a little bit slow, but, you know, that's the drudgery of what some of these poor bees have. That's their lot, you know, that's their life. So there we have it. Thought we'd have a lovely catch up with a duo. We haven't had one for a while. So don't forget, we've got The Bees by Laline Paull and Beekeeping, the non-fiction book by, I've forgotten the name of the author, Andrew Davies. Beekeeping by Andrew Davies. So see you again next time. Bye for now.